Good evening. Thanks for joining. This is the Tony and Tim Show. I'm Tony.
And I'm Tim.
Thank you, of course, for always tuning in and watching our videos where we bring to you the analysis and our thoughts from the football that happened during the week, keeping our social media pages engaged. A lot of football happened this week, Tim. Of course, we had the Champions League and Europa League, big games over there. And of course, there were some few interesting results in these fixtures.
Yeah, Tony, interesting results. Along the Champions League, we had Chelsea under their new coach, Graham Potter, failing to get the first win in the Champions League, drawing their 1-1. We also had Liverpool nicking it.
On the Chelsea game, before we leave it, Timothy, this was a big, of course, chance for Graham Potter to show what he can do or what Chelsea fans can expect from him. Curious decisions that he made there in the selection, leaving Koulibaly and Fofana on the bench in this game. What are your thoughts?
No, every coach comes with their style. Some want to impose it on day one, others want to take it slowly. I was shocked he totally made an overhaul, especially in the defense. But at the end of the day, Graham Potter wants to establish his own team, and we have to look at it. But I thought it was lightweight again in his selection.
Very interesting. Of course, that game ending 1-1 with Raheem Sterling getting that goal for Chelsea. I thought it was a bit curious in that selection, putting Azpilicueta playing there. I thought, he would be choosing maybe Fofana to play with Thiago Silva, a more imposing person there. But of course, with the rest of the games, team.
Other games, of course, Tony, the big one was Barcelona taking on Bayern. Bayern winning that 2-0. But back to the English sides that were representing the Premier League, in the Champions League, we had Tottenham collapsing in the last minutes there
against Lisbon.
Losing 2-0 against Sporting Lisbon there, and then Man City squeezing, coming from behind against Dortmund, winning that 2-1. We said Liverpool nicking it with Matic header in the last minutes of normal time. So the English sides have not yet started.
Very interesting, yes, Timothy, because I feel when you look at how Liverpool have been performing and how Man City have been performing, they seem to have. They seem to take long to get going in some of these games. We've seen it before. Liverpool now winning at Newcastle with a late goal, and now leaving it late also with Joel Matip getting that winner in the 89th minute. Something is not yet ticking for Liverpool. But for Man City, what can we point to?
Man City is a serial winner, and for them, I think even 10 minutes to the end of a game when they're losing, they can nick something.
They're still comfortable
now.
They're
still comfortable. And we saw it against Tottenham. They're able to pull through. You mentioned Liverpool there. I think they've survived this weekend by postponement of their game. Liverpool has not kicked off from last season, and it might cost them. They might come back to the race when it's too late.
Very interesting there. Of course, Man City and Liverpool getting those wins with Haaland having a very scintillating goal there with the fabulous cross, of course.
Only he and Ibrahimovic could score.
No, these are the only two people that can pull this off, of course. Very brilliantly taken goal. Nice cross from Joao Cancelo, who I think has been their best player so far, if you ask me. Of course, apart from Haaland's goals. And of course, Liverpool also trying hard there to win that game. 2-1. And of course, in the Europa League, we had Manchester United, of course, coming back to winning ways, getting their first win in the tournament there with 2 goals, one from Sancho and one from Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's first goal of the season coming from a penalty. I think he's been below par Ronaldo. We expect him to.
He hasn't had the chances though.
He's not had the chances, but Tony, when he starts like the game against Sheriff, he totally was not involved in the game. He tried, but I don't think Ronaldo is now fit enough to compete at the top level now.
Very interesting. Of course, you could see that there was no way he was letting Bruno take that penalty from him. It was a very nice game there. Of course, 3 points away from home for Manchester United in Moldova. That game happening on Thursday night. Big result for the coach, of course, Erik ten Hag. And of course, we turn our eyes to the weekend. The game's action returns on the weekend with the big one, of course, happening. We know most of the games have been postponed because of the Queen's barrier arrangements. But we have a big kickoff, early kickoff on Saturday. Wolves taking on Manchester City at the Molineux. This is a big game, team.
Tony, I think it's a big game. I mean, many are underrating Wolves in this encounter, but at the Molineux, I believe Wolves always stands up, especially when they're welcoming the so-called top sides, Tony. And tomorrow, Man City going there, they have had a game in the Champions League. Some fatigue will be there. Do they want to face Wolves with the second string side? I don't think so. So they'll play these players. And everyone, Tony, is excited. Having missed the previous weekend, you'd think everyone wants to play again. And it's a game I really give Wolves a chance, though Man City is always a bully.
Man City with no fresh injury concerns.
Yeah.
Of course, they have the centre-backs that are still missing out.
Yes.
There, we know Kyle Walker is also still missing out through injury.
Yeah.
But they have a nice depth in them. They've signed Akanji in the centre-back to help them with some of those problems. And of course, Haaland at the top, we know that he can always bring a surprise.
9 touches and 2 goals.
For Wolves.
Yeah.
With the new signing of Diego Costa, of course, returning. We saw him returning in midweek.
Yeah.
Where do they have the chance in the side to hurt Man City?
I think you've mentioned the chance there. It's Diego Costa all day long, because I've watched some games of Wolves in the start of the season, and they lack the finishing touch.
The number 9.
They lack a number 9. They've created chances, but putting them behind the net, it's been a problem. And we know Diego Costa, that is his daily bread. He can do that. And there's that presence. The likes of Akanji tomorrow will be wary of Diego Costa if he starts, and I think he'll be able to keep the 2 central defenders engaged, and then that allows the other guys who play, the Podence and Neves, to find him. And to me, I still feel Wolves has a chance, Tony.
It will be very, very interesting to watch Wolves with a brilliant midfield. Of course, they keep the things ticking around. A very good goalkeeper, don't forget, in Josesa. So this is a team that can really spring a surprise for any big side on a given day. Of course, with the signing of Diego Costa, it will be interesting if the coach can trust him enough to start immediately from the start. But I think this will be a very, very closely fought affair that Man City might nick to 1.
Tony, I still feel it's going to be a draw, and I've gone for a 1-1.
Very, very interesting there. Of course, that game happening at 2:30 East African time. It will be the first kickoff of the afternoon. And of course, later in the evening, we'll be having Tottenham taking on bottom-placed Leicester.
Yeah.
This is another big game. You can never discount Leicester, of course, in this show's team.
No, you can't discount Leicester. They are at the bottom. You've mentioned that, but
with 1 point.
With 1 point, it's just that they are at the bottom. But at the end of the day, I think they'll be able to come out of that early mess. It's a decent side. They have the players who can win games, and the coach has tried to rally them and ask if they can find something. At Tottenham, I think it's going to be hard. Tottenham is an established side. Conte pulling his team from the Champions League night to train the next morning. That means he was so frustrated. So he wants a turn-up show from Tottenham tomorrow, and I think that is going to play against Leicester.
It was very interesting to watch, of course, in midweek for Tottenham. That was the first time this season, Mark Hugh, that they haven't scored a goal in a particular game. So it will be running, of course, on the coach's mind. He will be trying to look for answers across the board. Harry Kane has started with a stop-start. He has had a stop-start season so far. Heung-min Son looking a shadow of himself. The coach has a bit of work to do
risking
there.
Himself, I think Son has not been good, Tony, and it's just because of his previous status. Otherwise, I think Richarlison and
I feel Richarlison should be starting alongside
Kulusevski.
So that's something I think the coach needs to look at there. It will be a big, bold decision, of course, for Conte. He doesn't want any unrest in his side. But of course, trying to bed in the new signings, Perisic, I feel also perhaps we might need to give back a chance to Ryan Sessegnon. He had started the season well. The coach might be thinking, maybe let me give him a chance in this particular game. For Leicester, it's looking a bit grim right now. It's looking bad. The coach didn't make any of the signings that he wanted to make in the season, and he had to lose a key player in Wesley Fofana at the last minute. So the team is still trying to recover from that. This is a Leicester side that I think still this won't be the time that they recover. No. I think Tottenham will be able to beat them 3-1.
I've also gone for Tottenham win. I wanted to go for 5, but I'll keep it at 3. So 3-1, Tony.
Very, very big result there. Of course, Tottenham will be taking on Leicester at 7:30, of course, in London. Very, very interesting game there. And, of course, on Sunday is when we have Arsenal, after having their Europa League fixture against PSV postponed because, of course, because of the barrier arrangements. They will be fresh, of course, coming into this particular game. They will be taking on Brentford at the GT Community Stadium.
Tony.
On Sunday.
On Sunday, and I think it's going to be a lot of memories in that game. We remember last season, Brentford's first game in the Premier League. beating Arsenal 2-0 there. And for Arsenal, there's an incentive. Their last game, they lost against Man United. So you think Arsenal being on top of the table with 15 points, they want to
keep it going,
maintain that position.
And Man City might have won the day before, so it will be added incentive.
Exactly. So I think Arsenal will have a go for this game. I'm starting to believe Tony in Arteta's process, because he is starting to pick points where he didn't pick last year.
Especially away from home.
Exactly, and I think he can go to the Brentford Stadium and come up with something there too.
This one is another big fixture. Don't discount it at all. Of course, like you said, Arsenal coming in on the back of a loss to Manchester United. Of course, they won in the Europa League after that last week against Victoria. This is a game that they come in with some of the good news. Returning, of course, the returning of Thomas Partey into training might have given Arsenal fans some hope after they saw that. But Alexander Zinchenko, someone who has started brilliantly this season, had got a calf injury in training. So that will give Arteta a bit of headache. So it will be interesting to see what team he selects, who he goes with at the back. We know there's been talk of Tomiyasu starting ahead of Ben White, another player who has started well.
Who has not been called to the English team also, and created a bit of some news in England there.
Very interesting. And of course, on the other side, of course, on the Brentford side, we have Ivan Toney getting his first call-up to the English side. We know he has been resisting Jamaica, the Jamaica call-ups. They are very, very interesting. He has tried to bide his time, and now he gets his first call-up. Will he be excited enough by that to come into this game? Brentford, don't forget, beat Man United 4-0. They
beat Man United 4-0, and we should not forget also, Tony, that they are the second top scorers in the Premier League behind Man City. So they are a team, when they're in the mood, can score 3-4 goals.
Very interesting, and they are very, very big counter-attacking side. Of course, when it comes to Mbeumo up front with Ivan Toney.
Silva.
This is a very, very mouth-watering clash. Of course, you can't afford to miss it on Sunday. That game starting at 2 p.m. East African time. I think, though, Arsenal will be trying to exorcise those girls from last season. They'll be going to the GTEC Stadium with only a win on their mind. I've gone for a 2-1 win for Arsenal. Tony,
you've mentioned last season's scoreline, and I'm trying to give Arsenal the goals this time. That's why I've gone for 2-2.
Big prediction there from Timothy. Of course, he thinks Arsenal will be drawing that game 2-2. Big games coming up this season. Of course, like we said, don't forget, a lot of the games have been postponed. The fixture for Manchester United there has been postponed. They were meant to play Leeds in this particular weekend. Chelsea were meant to be taking on Liverpool, of course, in a blockbuster affair. That has also been postponed because the Queensbury arrangements will be moving up to Monday. So some of the security detail in London and the surrounding places has been hard to go over there and support. Very, very interesting. But for the games that, of course, will be happening, we'll be waiting to hear your predictions on our socials. Share with us your thoughts on who you think will be taking the weekend. Of course, the fantasy football players as well will be waiting to hear some of your comments and who have you picked as captain. Who is your captain this weekend, Timothy?
Tony, I've gone with Captain Kane. I think he has 2 goals against Leicester City, and he will be a differential this weekend.
Big one, of course. A tip from Timothy himself. He's gone for Captain Kane. Who have you gone for captain in this particular weekend? Share with us your thoughts. And of course, don't forget, this episode is brought to you by Rainforest Coffee, of course, the taste of nature, and
Itax Ware, your gateway to eFRIS.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. That's it from us for this weekend. Have a lovely one, and of course, see you next time.
Bye-bye.